welcome to Maccas Old School, number 52, guys. We've got a big show for you today. Richie Vaculik, I hope I pronounced that right, aka Richie Vass. The guests are on their way. We're having he's not the only, he's our guest star. He's not the only guest today. We've got a mixture. We've got Nigel from number 50 and also Mounty's popping in from number 46. As you can see, we're doing musical chairs today. We're doing something a bit different, team, because we've got so many guests. We had a venue lined up, but we missed out. We didn't get in on it. So we're going to squish in. We're coming from you from Storm Studio 2, guys. As I said, it's a bit of musical chairs today. We're moving around. We're doing it a little different. We're going to have a great chat. Richie Vass, it's going to be fantastic. Couple of quick shout outs. I'll get out of the way now. G'day Taties from Coffs Harbour, thanks very much. Jacko, Vicky and Jason, love you guys, brothers, sisters. And also Jeff and Bunga, a couple of characters there, mate, I tell you, you got to watch them. G'day guys, thanks for all the support, you're great, thank you very much. We'll be starting shortly, as usual. We'll have our co-host John Killick and a whole bunch of other people we'll introduce shortly. They're on the way, it's going to be a good one, guys. I'll be coming and going, so I'll be coming on set. I might bring some drinks. I'll be going off set. Everyone's going to throw a few questions at Richie. Great guy. Welcome back. Today, as I said, it's episode 52. Our special guest, Richie Vass, who's an absolute champion. We'll introduce everyone. We're squished in the little studio. We had another venue, but it didn't work out because it's Friday. Richie, good morning. Thanks very much for joining us, mate. You're a bloody champion. He's our star today.
Boys, thanks for having
us. Good on you, Richie.
Nige, I'll go for you next. Nige,
good on you, Maccas.
number 50,
number
former
50.
guest, good man. Co-host and champion extraordinaire reporter and helicopter enthusiast, John Killick.
Thank you, mate.
Mounty, champion number 46. They're all doing well too. So what we're going to do is casual and laid back on the old school, and we're going to throw a few questions. Everyone is going to throw a few questions. I'll manoeuvre out of the way a bit. We're squished in, bit of a sweatbox today, but there's a lot to cover with Richie. He's an amazing fella, Maroubra boy, started with surfing. And mate, what we're going to say is, just start off, mate, from Maroubra, what did you do? Surfing, bit of bra boys, and we'll take it from there, mate. You're fighting and just amazing fella. So if you want to kick off, and then what we'll do is, we'll pop one in. It's all laid back here, mate. We're professionally amateur here, so
I like it.
So, mate, good on you. I'll move over a little bit. Thanks, Richie. And if you just want to kick off a bit about your life, mate.
I grew up down Maroubra. It was like from as far back as I remember, all I wanted to do was be in the ocean and surf. Like surfing's always been my number one passion, and it was always a dream to become a professional surfer and give that a crack. I grew up at a family home. My old man, he's from the Czech Republic. He escaped there in '69 as political refugee.
Yeah, I've
made
seen
it
that.
to Australia. Yeah, my mum's from Manchester, English.
Right.
They met in a pub in Paddo, and then had a family. Me and my big sister Petra, and like I said, we grew up at Little Bay, actually a family home. Just out near La Perouse, and then because I just love surfing, the closest beach was Maroubra, and that's where I end up living. Dad, when my parents split, moved down there, so I was pretty stoked to have.
You kicked off about 10 years old or something. You were in the drink straight away, surfing.
But even earlier, like I was down at Nippers because. My mum, I was always pestering my mum to get down the beach and surf, so she thought, I better get used to the ocean and learn, a healthy respect for it. So they got me to Nippers, which is great. Yep. My uncle, who's also from Manchester, he lives on the northern beaches at Avalon. He's a mad surfer from, like, he left Manchester at a young age as well. And, he loves his surfing. So when I'd go up there, he'd push me away, and, he could see I had the bug for surfing along with my cousin Daniel. And it
was like the old thing, mate. Fucking sink or swim, chuck you in, get in there. Remember that? You used to go sink or swim.
That was it. So, mate, like I said, I just always just want to be down the beach, and that's where I spent all my time. And then when I was about 10 or 11, my mum was sick of me like punishing her to get down the beach and go for a surf. She took me down to Maroubra surf shop and said, "Boys, how do I get my son into like a board riders club or something? Like he always wants to be down here. I can't be with him like every second of the day down here with him." So walked in the Maroubra Underground, it was called at the time, the surf shop. Paul Chandler, like Hair Bear, was behind the counter. He's the dean of Wollongong University now. He's like a psychology background, and he goes, "Don't worry, we got our border eyes on this weekend. Bring him down, I'll look after him." And that was where my life in Maroubra.
It just kicked off.
Yeah, I just wanted to be down there, join the Border Riders Club. It was called Maroubra Surfers Association back then. Now it's called North Maroubra Surf Riders. And mate, once I was down there, not long after that, my parents split, and my dad got a unit down the beach. So I was kind of took the sting out of your parents splitting when you've got a house on the beach. So that I was down there every free time I had.
Well, I've been dying to ask you, Richie, what was it like dropping in from some of these waves, mate? Some of these huge, humongous waves, and I imagine you've done it worldwide, and you've chased the biggest ones possible, from what I hear.
It looks frightening, doesn't it? Mate, from non-surfing people. I'm not a surfer.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't drop in on something that's nearly 3-4 stories high. It's just
you're dealing with massive waves. You're dealing with big fucking sharks, and you know, good on you.
What's the rush?
It is exactly that. It's a
full rush, and you
you shit yourself. Yeah, so there's so many different waves. You know, some waves you just can't paddle into. You know, they moves too quick, or it comes out of really deep water and hits a ledge and just throws so quick you can't paddle into it. So you need the jet ski to get into the wave, and then some waves you can paddle in. They get huge as well.
Yeah.
So there's different approaches to different waves, but. It's a huge
just
rush.
Exhilarating,
and just the whole adventure around chasing those kind of waves. You know, they're often in places like the middle of the end of the earth where it takes you 3 days to get there, and you're chasing as well. You're hoping that all the elements align and you get that magic day, and you're doing it with some of your best mates. So
and you're underwater for like a fucking minute or something with your board strapped. It's like a torpedo or something.
Yeah, you get some pretty long hold downs, or you get bounced off the bottom. The waves are super shallow, you get bounced off the bottom, which
hold downs. Is that it? I'd call it drown down.
I've been tumbled.
I'd be drowned.
Yeah.
More like hold your breath.
I'd be drowned, mate.
But mate, that's like in terms of the thought process behind it, I'd like to try and just take my brain out of the equation and just don't hesitate. Just if you're on the back of the road, you said yes to a wave. Exactly. You just
do you surf every day? Sorry, Nigel.
I was just going to say, do you know the speed at what you come down?
I don't know, no. But you're flying.
You'd be howling.
On those waves too, like that's obviously if you're using a jet ski to get into it, you're like that wave itself is moving incredibly fast. You know what I mean? So then you're flying down it, and I know it hurts when you fall.
I got to imagine.
You got to hold your breath.
You're going to stay like in any hairy situation, whether it be in a blue or an argument with the missus or road rage.
You got to try and focus.
Stay calm, you know what I mean, to fucking make the right decisions. And that's the same when you fall, you know, and you get flogged. You got to stay as calm as you can. As soon as you panic, you chew through your oxygen, and she gets pear-shaped. So,
what's your best, mate? Australia? I know you've done Tahiti and Hawaii.
Yeah, Tahiti, Hawaii, Fiji. Mate, some incredible ways. Australia's just unique in the way we've got so much coastline, and like in the early sort of 2000s, sort of 2010.
Margaret River and that.
Yeah, Margaret River.
Yeah, Western
around
Australia,
into the Bight. You got like Denmark and Albany, some really crazy waves down there, and some big fish and
sharks too. Lots of sharks down there, mate.
And,
we've got to ask you, how many sharky encounters? I was a kayaker for years, and I've had a couple of bull shark encounters, sort of thing.
And as you know, I spearfish.
So
I get out there.
They're out there.
They're out there. And different places, and I'm very mindful of that, actually.
Me too. I was as well.
I love me spearfishing. So it is say I spend a lot of time in the ocean, like spearfishing when it's flat, chasing waves.
Yeah.
And I've had very limited encounters with like bad shark, like great whites or bull shark. You see grey nurses and whatnot all the time, but the ones you got to worry about, you really, it's like winning the lottery to come in and have an encounter with them. But I've seen some in South Australia. We've been chased in before, and again in WA, like down the bottom of WA.
There's been some bad cases recently. Down at
Streaky Bay, young fella got taken just this other week.
Little Bay last year.
Little Bay, that was footage I wish I never saw.
Oh, I seen that. The poor bastard, and he was a real tall guy. Apparently, he was like 6'6" or something, a tall, thin guy, and. They tore his
feet for the shark.
Tore his ass out, mate. It'd be terrible.
They reckon once the sharks decided they want you. You don't have much shit. But they say they would have been suzzing him out for a while, and because they say they're pretty selective in what they.
I didn't realise how big great whites were until I actually
seen them.
They're
incredible.
Submarines.
So I can imagine if you're on the water and you see one, it'd be horrific.
Well, I've seen smaller sharks.
You're out of your
Yeah,
element.
you're right.
What do you do?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
see the way they move and stuff.
Yeah.
Even smaller
Yeah.
sharks, you know, if they want to go,
Yeah.
They'll have a go.
People
And
say poke it
the
in the
bullies
eye, but-
apparently are the most
Yeah, right.
aggressive.
Yeah.
The great white are the biggest.
It's like
The
when
second, I don't know if that's
loaded
right.
in.
Second most aggressive. This is what I've been
Yeah.
told. But the bullies, they'll fucking go you.
Yeah, yeah. They're called Zambezi shark over in South Africa, and they're known as well as super aggressive.
They're nasty. They're
Yeah,
nasty,
but,
mate. And there's loads of them in the harbour.
What I've known about bull sharks is their skin is a little bit like sandpaper.
I've heard that.
What they'll do is they'll come up and they'll scrape alongside you until a bit of claret starts to come out, right?
Get a bit of a wolf.
Yeah, they'll come around and then they'll scrape her, and then when there's a bit of claret, they might take a little chunk.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not
right.
necessarily go for the kill every time with these
Yeah,
bull
yeah,
sharks.
yeah.
From what I understand anyway. But yeah.
You don't want any bleeding out in the
Yeah.
ocean, mate. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Well,
Richie-
I think we'll move a bit to the bra boy thing now.
Well,
What do you think on
just
it?
before the
Yeah,
bar
sure,
boy,
John, sure, mate.
just something I wanted to ask. I was interested. 69, your dad come over, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm a great believer in fate. A lot of things have happened in my life as I got older that I believe in fate. Fate, certain things happen for us to come together or to go somewhere and meet up, and it's certainly played a big role in my life, and I probably it was fate that you come over from Czechoslovakia over to here because, as you said, it's unique. Australia's unique for the sort of thing that you love to do. So you've sort of landed in the right spot. But I'm interested. You said come over in '69. Now I remember the revolution over there was Dubček. I think he was the leader. Yeah,
Czech politician.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Now, what the revolution, Spring Revolution or something, wasn't it?
You're right. I know it's had a lot to do with like Russia and communism.
Yeah, that's
taking
right.
over that
Yeah,
Eastern
well,
European
Russia eventually crushed
spot.
them. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they crushed them in '68, but and that's why you've come over in '69. But I'm wondering with your sister. You said she's older. I wonder if she remembers any of that. Would she remember any of that?
My sister?
Yeah.
No, because we're like she's only a few years older than me, so
Oh,
like, the
I see,
family
yeah,
all
yeah.
like
Yeah.
we started here in Sydney, and
Yeah.
I love picking my dad's brain about all that. You know,
I've got to
as
say,
he's getting
yeah,
older, and
yeah.
I've taken
Yeah.
as I've gotten older more of a fascination of like history and all
Has
that
she ever
kind of
talked
stuff,
much
and-
about it? Your dad?
He
Like
does,
that?
yeah. And he's getting on now too. He's 80 this year, and like I said, like, as you get older, you have more of an interest in your past and your family's fucking origins. And
Well, it was one of the biggest events in the
reflect back a
'60s.
bit.
Yeah, and he tells me lots about like some real funny stories the way they escaped the Czech Republic.
Oh, look at it!
Back in the day.
Well, that's what I was
And
thinking.
Australia.
Well, this is what
Yeah.
I was thinking with you. There's so much in your life already with that background. There's got to be a book coming up one day.
Yeah.
Whenever-
Well,
That could be the
Yeah.
impetus for
Yeah.
how it became.
Yeah.
That was coming over here and having that start.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
There was that niche there for surfing and.
Yeah, it's sort of fate,
Well,
you know.
And that guy from Alan Unwin approached me a few years ago, and we put one out.
Oh, haven't you?
Maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
You put a book out.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
did you
It's
really?
called Bra Boy, and it's about just my like surfing, fighting,
Oh,
my
right.
story. You know,
I'll
like,
check it out. Who wrote it? Who wrote it?
I wrote it with a surf journalist called Sean Doherty, because when I got asked by the
Sean
guys
Doherty,
at, Alan Unwin about the idea of doing a book, I had no idea where to start. I
No,
said, I'll be interested if I can get a mate of mine who's a journalist and
Yeah.
he can help me structure it.
Yeah,
and,
right.
I trust him, and I know he's. He's good at what he does, and he was
And
available.
he's got your
so
best
we-
interest at heart,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
So what's the
Exactly.
book called again,
It's
sorry?
called Bra Boy.
Oh,
yeah,
Bra Boy,
Richie
yeah.
Vaculik, larrikin surfer.
But you've done a lot since then.
I'll keep
You've
it.
done a lot. So
Well,
you
it's
say
in
so.
the movie, the Bra Boy movie, where Russell
Yeah,
Crowe
blood,
narrated it.
Blood's thicker than water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bra Boy movie.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a celeb.
Well, you are. I'd heard of you. Everybody's heard of you, and that's the thing. But I'm thinking sometimes we put out a book too early, and there might be
It's not over yet.
might be room further down the track because you've done a lot more
Yeah,
since.
look,
you
I'm
know.
always
Yeah,
open
yeah.
to
Got more chapters
Yeah,
to add.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still only like a young tacker with like.
Well, you are,
a lot,
yeah.
And you feel like I guess you're getting mature. You just.
Well, you're getting grey. You're getting grey.
Definitely getting grey, yeah,
We're all grey. I noticed
We're
that.
all grey, mate. That's why you get scout.
Even Marcus over here is grey. Look.
Don't you, man?
It's no good.
Scout, mate.
It's no good wearing a. He's wearing a cap trying to cover it up. You know.
But,
There's something that piques my interest is an incident that happened many years ago, and all the bar boys were together at a convention, if I'm correct. It was a party or a wedding reception.
oh yeah.
We got to get onto this. This is a cracker.
And downstairs were the jacks.
Yeah.
For the audience, the coppers.
Yeah.
And
They were having a duel or something.
I'm obviously going to let you fill in all the blanks, obviously, but you know, from what I hear, it started in the elevator.
Yeah.
And everyone's a bit, you know, tipsy. And then things ensued. It turned into a brawl. You got out the front, and it was on like Donkey Kong. And I heard that the amount of cars that pulled up from police cars was absolutely phenomenal. So do you want to give us a bit of insight on
Yeah,
that?
mate, please, Phil.
Yeah.
I heard the Brawl Boys were
And
doing
certainly
pretty
if
good
it's things
too.
you don't want to discuss
Until the
about it.
Jacks
that's-
rolled
Nah,
off.
you
yeah,
know.
like I said, warts and all, and
Yeah.
that night was it definitely got a bit of attention, a bit of hype, and it was my good mate Mark Matthews, who I always chase waves with Kobe Abbott, and like he's one of Australia's best big wave surfers.
Yeah.
He's doing,
Legend.
still doing it
Yeah.
now, and he
Brothers.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was his 21st, and happened to be held in December or late November, and it was held at the Coogee Randwick RSL.
Right.
And whoever was the events organiser, Coogee Randwick RSL, I think they did a great job in putting the police Christmas party on the same night.
Yeah.
And they
Can't believe that, eh?
so they were down one floor below us, and we were the floor above, and or vice versa. I can't remember which was on top of each other, but.
Yeah.
So both events got on the same night, and Mark Matthews, like a big member of our community, very well loved. His 21st was huge, and it was packed. Everyone was full of piss, having a great time. At the end of the night, like both events, were wrapping it up, and everyone was trying to leave the venue at the same time. And we were trying to get in the lift, and like me just being the young fellow that I still am in
I
many
know where
ways.
you're getting at.
I just always want to impress my mates and have a laugh.
Yeah.
The lift opened, my mates were in the front of the lift, and I didn't know at the time that the back of the lift was packed full of off-duty coppers who were just full of piss from their Chrissy party. And my mates said, let's go, Vass, we're going, let's get in. I'm like, is there room? Yeah, there's plenty of room, let's go. So I just like took a run and just swan dived into the lift. And it just like, it caused all chaos because all the boys in the back got squashed, and they took offence to it.
Yeah.
And
But unbeknownst to you, they were coppers.
we had no idea. Like,
Yeah,
they try to make it out like we knew that it was their Chrissy party up there, and we tried to crash it, and that's what it started.
You started the intimidation.
Yeah.
They tried to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when it was all said and done, they were made look pretty stupid because a few of the young boys, or more at the time, or my age, 21, they all got like arrested for assaulting police officers and whatnot. And then it would all panned out. Not one of them like stuck. Nothing stuck. There was no. But it cost them 30 grand, like to get off the charges.
Pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or more.
Solicitors and all that.
That's a deposit in the house at a young age or whatever. Like it just had to scratch and get the money just to not have these charges stick, and like none of them did eventually. So like we said, it was just like a stupid moment, like where it was just like it's a miscommunication, a misunderstanding what's going on. I just try to ride off and have a laugh with my mates. The coppers in the back took offence to it, and then we didn't know they were coppers, and it spilled out, and then it just exploded in the foyer and spilled out into the streets.
That'd be the longest lift ride of your life, wouldn't it? Coming down after that in the lift.
Well, it'd be uncomfortable, wouldn't it?
Imagine you start punching on in the lift,
And with you, how many blokes were you getting into?
I was just trying to calm it down.
Oh,
it was but it was wild though. It was wild, and people were stepping over each other and whatnot. And
so you got out. You all got out.
It spilled out of the lift.
It just started at the front. The coppers are on you.
And he's there trying to pull it up.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I was just going, come on, guys.
Did you say I didn't know, mate? I was just
No,
mucking around, mate.
To be honest,
like,
everyone was that full of drink. There was not a lot of talking going on. Once it kicked off, it just kicked off. And
Yeah.
if you someone's in front, they weren't part of your mates. It was on, and it was vice versa with them.
It was on the news.
I remember. Sheila was like, it was chaos. There wasn't a lot of room, so it was like she was like almost getting trapped. But I tried to like say, don't stop it for getting put, and then she just clawed my face just because she
got the cat thing going as well.
I was having all nail claws on your face.
The cat thing, fucking, it's horrible. It hurts.
No one's safe. So
Panic soon.
And like I said, spilled on in the street, and like leading up to that, like it was never a great relationship between the local police and the boys from
No.
there, and then that just escalated, and then it got even more heated from then. So
Well, the media makes it worse too. They always have pumped it up.
and they still do today. And
talk shit.
So what was it, mate? It was like 20 on each or something?
Oh,
How
it
did it
more,
wind
that
out?
would've been,
massive.
It was like 50 plus on 50 plus, and it was such a confined area. Like I said, there's bodies, just stepping over bodies.
So,
people was getting,
all the
Were
paddies
these coppers
right?
punching on, or were they?
they were born
Yeah, they were having a go.
like
But
I said.
they, from what I hear, they got it over the Jacks. but it still hit them all in the pocket, and
that's how
money
they-
come out. So really, it sort of evened itself out.
The lawyers were pretty happy about
Well,
it.
yeah,
Oh, they
exactly.
always
And
win.
there was-
They always win, don't they?
They just grabbed a few young blokes who had, like, I think they were known to them at the time too,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
weren't
Targets.
really that, and so they knew the name, they said they were involved, they started and whatnot, and like I said, it cost them a stack.
And naturally, being a young guy's probably no criminal background, that you're going to get the best lawyer you can. You don't want to go to jail, you don't want to have this, and so you'll get a lawyer and they'll say, look, it'll cost you this and this, but we'll get you out of it, and they do it.
Well, at a young age, so you don't want, assaulting a police officer against your name and have that state and all that.
Well, once you get that on your
opportunities
record,
that takes away,
once the cops see that on your record,
Yeah, they come next time. They definitely
they come.
There's no coming like the first time.
Yeah.
But then again, the first time was pretty good.
So I think they were pretty filthy how it all ended up, and they tried, I guess, get their revenge in courts, and I guess they did, like you said. They cost the boys a lot of money to get off it all. But
Did the paddies arrive, mate, and they started flinging us all in and all that shit?
there's helicopters, all sorts.
They got the spotties out and the
Oh,
whole
mate,
bit.
there was the
the
street
media,
was
everyone's,
full.
all the cavalry's there. mate.
Lights and car after car, and they come from different districts as well, I hear.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Maroubra Police, they come from everywhere. Once they
Oh, it
heard
would have
that-
been, we're getting attacked and all
That's
this
it,
sort
that's
of stuff.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
all in.
It was one of those perfect storms, you say, like a lot of different moving parts to it, and all just fucking it all just kicked off, and got a fair bit of attention.
what it has done is help perpetuate the reputation of the brawl boys. That's what it's done.
It elevated the name at that point.
Yeah.
Also, when they brokered the deal with the Comancheros over the Cronulla riots, that was another good thing. Good notch on you.
in terms of
appeasing the community and just making things a lot softer.
I guess bucking the trend of what the media was painting us out to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they don't even made
and
overseas news. They don't even made overseas news. And the thing is that once, and I noticed myself, and I was never involved on that side of town, really. But the Bra boys often hit the news. When they could, they'd play it up. It was a newsworthy thing. The Bra boys, and and
well, Johnny, it was a gang that was
try and
formed
make 'em out to be
to help
gangsters or
keep
something
the.
rather.
I know.
No, it was a gang that was formed, from my understanding. And Richie will
with good
obviously
intentions. Yeah.
elaborate on it.
Yeah.
It was all good intentions to keep the beaches safe. From who's going down there causing trouble, whatever nationality it was at the time, and it was to look after the general public. So if they saw shit go down there and a kid was getting bashed or a woman was getting abused, the Bra boys got together and said, "We've had enough. This is our beach, this is our area. Let's deal with it." Am I right?
And before it was labelled the Bra Boys, it was the same kind of community. Over the last sort of 80 years, different names, but that same kind of you're proud of your patch of land, and you're proud of your you're all surfers, you love your beach. The Bronny community have their own little local surf culture and gang, and the same as the Bono, and that's the same all around the world. When you go to Hawaii, you're proud of your little patch of land, and you want to try and keep
keep a respect going,
and then
some of you became famous too, which bloody helped perpetuate it.
Exactly, we're in the early 90s is when a lot of that gang mentality kind of starts kicking off in Sydney, and
you didn't want that at your local beach, mate.
And a lot of the boys came from broken homes too, so that was their family down the beach, their mates they surfed with and hung out with, and then when there was that gang sort of mentality was kicking off around Sydney, and there'd be carloads or just crew looking for a blue. That's when they all band together. So we're not leaving our little town, but if people come for a blue, we'll band together and just look after ourselves, our little patch of land, and be proud of where we're from, and that's where it kicked off. And so. I said, that same that tribal kind of aspect you see it all over the world, especially in the surf community. You're proud of your beach, and not just coastal, but any part of any community around. You have that pride in your community. And family.
Absolutely. I've been to Hawaii a fair bit, and the surfers over there, you got to respect. Don't fuck with their beach. I've seen that. I've seen that in action.
Waves, that was the thing too.
I've seen this big Hawaiian bloke, mate. He fucking dropped this big mouth from I think he was American from the Los Angeles, whatever. And mate, he dropped him. It was just, and I thought, oh yeah, there's a code.
Look, there is, and I think it can get taken out of whack and stuff, and especially like you said, the media like to jump on things and they gangs and whatnot, you know what I mean? But it's just I think it's like at its essence, like that proud of your community, proud of your patch of land is like it's a pretty wholesome way of living, like and like you see, look after your families, look at like say your missus can walk the kids down there, or your mum can walk down with your grandma, like all that is entwined, is encapsulated in all of that, and it's
and they made a film. About all this sort of thing too, you know.
Shifting gears a little bit, and given that this is a bit of a crime show, and you've been in contact with a couple of people in that industry, so to speak, and I just wanted to touch on something to do with Jai Abadan. So when Jai was going for that murder with Heinzie, how did that sort of impact the Bar Boy community? Did it just sort of hit everybody? And because it's a big issue, someone's going up for a murder, and you know people want to show their love and rock up at court, but you got work to go to, and
maybe we should say who the guy was that got killed.
Heinzie.
Yeah, but the public probably don't know. You know.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'll let you.
No, you're right.
Explain that.
Yeah, well, he's just a notorious criminal, wasn't he?
And a bit of a standover
man, and he was in a car and he got shot in the back of the head, didn't he?
That's right. Like I said, he's a predominant like sort of speak out of scores, a generation below Heinzie, and I always looked up to him and heard stories. You know what I mean? Like he fucking said to do something, you do something, and he had a pretty bad rap sheet, I guess, all kinds of shit, things, and very like unhinged in many ways. You know, like you could be your best mate one day, and then you know, and then
he's filthy the next.
So cave your head in the next. But him and Jai were like growing up, they got a good relationship, and like I said, I don't like exactly why it turned sour, but I think a woman was involved and assumptions of like someone had done something, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like Jai was on the hit list, you know. And Jai, like growing up with the Abraham brothers, was like one of the founding members when that community started getting called the Brawl Boys and getting a tattoo and whatnot, and very well loved. And it came to the point where it was basically the like Jai or Heinzie, you know, was someone's going to get knocked, you know. And Heinzie made it pretty clear that that's what he had intended with Jai. It all bubbled to a head one night, where there was a woman in the car with Jai and Heinzie, and Heinzie made it clear what he had planned that night, and then Jai put an end to it. So it wouldn't go any further. And it was a pretty crazy time, and that whole time, maybe it was, I'd say like 5-10 year period leading up to that. It was like when the riots happened, when the March first happened, the coppers. It was such a crazy time.
It was.
Well, good on the jury for making the right decision.
Well, it was like
given that there was an elevation of the Bar Boy name and all that at the time.
There was a lot of media attention on it, and like you hear stories that like Jai's barrister coming up. I've never seen that happen. How like the jury members want to go up and hug Jai after they heard all the events and all of the material that came with it, and he got let off in self-defense. Like I said, like. Wild times and wild characters, you know, like Jai's no angel, and he's a very colourful character himself, and when you get people like him and Heinzie getting in that sort of situation, it's always going to be a pretty wild outcome.
Well, everybody I knew that knew Heinzie, and there were quite a few of them in the jail, and that they all said he's a pretty bad guy.
I hadn't heard much good about him, and I don't want to speak about the dead, you know, but I'd heard certain things, of course,
So, it was a pretty wild time, and I'm stoked Jai came out of it the best way he could, and
it's still going fairly strong today now. The Brawl Boys,
it's changed a lot. You know what I mean? Like
changed guards a lot of times.
And he's settled down a lot. You know, like
different members.
Just like there's still younger crew who are coming up through it, and like I said, it's not nothing organised about it. There's no organised gang kind of like like structure.
No
but
colours.
But it's just like the Border Irish Club, you know what I mean? And we all live and surf down there.
But it's good guys like you are bloody doing the good things you're doing too, you know.
The community's still really strong down there. But like I said, like it's like gentrification, you know, the beach has changed a lot. It's a lot safer now. It's not as wild as it used to be. You know, you're not seeing blues down the pub every arvo, and
you don't go looking for blues and stuff like that. It's like, it's a mutual respect thing too, isn't it? Like
still love the area, and but the community and like I said, the camaraderie and that tribalism still very much there. It's just changing with the times, and so it's a lot more mellow these days, you know.
Well, speaking of blues, how did you get into the other?
That's what I'm thinking now. We'll go into the fight, and good one, John. Good one, mate.
The broken arm for one amazes me, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, if we move it now to the fighting, and you've done cage fighting and mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu. I mean,
signed with the UFC.
Oh, mate, you know, I've been sussing it right out. It's like fucking hell, you know. So how did that all go?
Big things come in small packages, mate.
Yeah, mate.
So that's small packages. I guess I joked about it when I was putting the book together.
Yeah.
Like, why did I get into fighting or surfing big weight? And I said, small man syndrome, you know. I mean, I'll speak up, like, I'll do this and like just because I want to try and prove I can do what the bigger fellas can do, what the older fellas can do, and it did play a part a lot in making in my decision making into step into martial arts or surf big waves. I'd always
more than prove yourself.
Chirp up before I thought things through. But once I put my hand up and said I want to have a crack at something, then like I did always want to come through with it. And
full dedication.
And growing up at Maroubra, like
beach fights, street fights.
Yeah, it was like I said, there's a lot of blues all the time, you know. Like, and it was back before mobile phones, and it was just like there was no consequence, you know. You could have a blue in the water or at the pub, whatever, and there was no
CCTV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So someone smack each other, and no one got involved with
cameras. That's how it used to be in jail.
That's how it was in jail.
It was like that in jail in the old days. You'd have a fight, and truly, that afternoon you'd be playing cards together.
That's why.
The screws would look at it, and they go, "Listen, they're just having a blue. If it doesn't go too far, we'll let it go." And they'd watch it.
That's right.
And you'd have your blue, and you're out of there.
Exactly right.
And then it became very political, and certain people got involved, you know. And
but that's the way it used to be too. And years ago in the 80s, we'd have an argument. While I was in the army for a few years, you'd have an argument. You'd smash each other, and then you got claret all over you. Your nose is over here, and you go, by each other.
And you joke about
with the night. You got blood all there.
You just joke about it later.
But there was no repercussions. You took it like a man, didn't you? And it was over.
I think, I guess in a way, like that's why. I think it's strange times these days where, like, especially social media and stuff, there's no repercussions. People can be offensive and say something, whatever you want, and pipe up. Because there's no repercussions anymore. And I'm not saying, like, I think it's good that, like, you know, there's not as much violence definitely down, like, in our community, and it doesn't happen like it used to. But it also allows for that kind of, like, there's no consequence to people, you know what I mean? Like being rude or disrespectful, and you can't deal with it the way you used to deal with it because.
Well, we've had a few people lately on Facebook putting a bit of crap on Russell, and all you can do is block them. You know, you know what I mean?
They'll never say that.
No, they wouldn't. No.
Keyboard warriors.
Gutless cunts too. You're the man's deceased. It's very gutless. You know, it's gutless.
If they happen to watch this, you're gutless.
They wouldn't dare say anything like that.
So like rewind. I think everyone's more respect for each other. You know what I mean? Because like you knew if the words that left your mouth, they had a consequence. So you chose your words differently. Now, but you're going back to I guess why I was drawn to fighting was like growing up in that environment. Like there was a lot of stand-up guys to look up to. You know, Ronnie Reardon, he was like a fantastic boxer, and watched him fight, and so training and boxing and.
Do you know Cougs and Tony?
Cougs, yeah, no Cougs. So I've been to his gym, So like there's a lot of characters like that we looked up to, and you do want to be known as like if shit the fan like to run, you know what I mean? You want to be able to handle yourself. So
there's no running. You got to take the flogging or the win or
So
it's fight hard.
I was always drawn into training and thinking at least if I got in a situation I better handle myself, and then mixed martial arts, started kicking in, like getting a little bit of attention over here,
and you loved it. You enjoy it. If you enjoy something, you kick it. Yeah.
And I like from a young kid, I was always a high energy kid. Always wanted to be out doing stuff, and we'd be doing cross country, playing rugby league, nippers, surfing. When Brazilian Jiu Jitsu came to Maroubra in the early 2000s, or late 90s, we just took it like a duck to water, you know. Fantastic. And that was our intro into mixed martial arts because my coach, trainers, Alex Pratt and Bruno Pano, also Ian Schaefer, they were also from the guys who sort of in the early days, were the MMA fighters as well. They this was back when MMA fighting was either like a jiu-jitsu guy versus a boxing guy and whatnot, you know. Alex and Ian were sort of leading the way in the early ground roots of mixed martial arts, and then I expressed interest in following suit, and that's how I got into it. But also just because I always had like a strong sort of history and culture of guys from our area, like either being boxers or being good bluers or whatnot. You wanted to sort of follow in their footsteps, you know. And then once I found Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, that opened the
That's
door.
The best, isn't it? I reckon that's the best. It's the best of all fighting form, you reckon?
Yeah,
Krav
I
Maga for the street maybe, and a bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a bit of boxing.
Yeah.
A little bit of...
I think...
what do you think's the
Brazilian
number one? What would you choose for number one?
in the terms of
You
professional
might be right,
sporting,
actually,
you know,
yeah.
like in mixed martial arts, I think the most important element is wrestling. Either you can decide whether it stays standing or goes to the ground. You know, if you've got great wrestling, well, you got the option. You want to keep it standing, you can. You want to take them to the ground, you can.
Yeah.
But you know, in terms of just knowing an all-round martial art for self-defense and kids of any age or people of what your walks like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is fantastic because you can use it to protect yourself. You can use it to subdue a situation, and
it's a discipline too, isn't it? Like a
it is,
self-discipline
and
as
it's
well.
a great culture. You know, when you've got a good academy, and you've got good instructors. It's it's a great part of a lifestyle. I look back on martial arts
Take on the
now.
philosophy of it.
Exactly, you know, and know how to channel that energy, and know that might be as a young bloke, like aggression and whatnot, and it humbles you as well because you could walk in there thinking you're a tough cunt, and then you get put in slam.
You're on the mat.
40 kilo
Yeah.
she's
I've seen
weighing you up, so
it.
it humbles you a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too, mate. How do you prep before a big blue? Like, or you've got a casing or whatever, and you sort of get out there, you're pumped, and you think, oh, fuck it, okay, yeah. You must be, you know, like, in that first 60 seconds too, you're going to know this guy's not bad, or, you know, like...
Well, you do a bit of research on your opponent.
Yeah, you do, like my
your
trainers and my research. I
Yeah.
do as much research as I could, but I also let my trainers watch the tape, and they would come up with like things that maybe we can exploit on my opponents, weakness, and where
prepare for it.
my game will be stronger. So let's try and push, take them to the ground or keep it standing or whatever game they will be.
Yeah.
And then just rely on my training. Make sure I just leave any stones unturned.
You're orthodox,
in the months
aren't you?
leading up. Yeah, orthodox. Yeah.
You try and blank the crowd a bit and just
Do you have
focus.
troubles with southpaws?
I did, yeah. But both in the sparring, but also the wrestling as well, because you're shooting on them differently too, because the stance is different.
Yeah.
And then as I sort of train more, I like to try and switch stances myself a little bit to mix that up. But I really just try to put faith in my training, my preparation. So when the night came, I want to try and it is a whirlwind of emotion. Like walking down there, you're anxious, you're scared, you're shitting yourself, you're excited. It's trying to
that's good to hear that. That's good to hear because people don't realise that.
And some of my heroes I look up, like BJ Penn and guys like that, and they would say these guys who are just guys who look like and they would say the same like they're backstage, just fucking how do I get out of here? I'm
You're walking down, no pressure at all.
So it's trying to stay calm. I think there's a big assumption that you got to walk in, you got to be super angry and you want to kill and you're bloodthirsty, but that might work for some. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's what it gets in there like a bull, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you can work for some.
But
for me, I try to stay calm. And my trainer Alex, he always said if you relax, you're going to react, and that's what you want to do. You want to react to whatever's in front of you. You know what I mean? Because nothing's guaranteed. You might have a game plan, and you might be assuming this is what your opponent's going to do. You get in there, and it could be something totally different. So you've got to be able to react in the moment. And if you relax, I feel like for me personally, I would react the best way if I was relaxed. And like I said, do as much training as I can. So almost go in autopilot. And like you asked about before about paddling into those waves, I want to almost take the brain out of it and just do as much training or fighting, and just when the moment comes, you just want to go on autopilot. You know what I mean? Just be in the moment.
So it can be dynamic and
not overthink it. I mentioned my good mate Mark Matthews, who we chased waves for a long time together, and he's a freak in the surf and fearless, but he was very calculated. He would look at waves and line, got to line up with that headland and let go here and take this line, and and I'd be the opposite. I was like, just give me the rope and then just fucking go, and we'll go.
Well, it worked for you.
To say sometimes I do cartwheels and I'll be pinned at the bottom, but so
I'm getting tired just listening to it. It's it's full on, isn't it? You've got to be super fit.
I love the sea Macca, I love the water. I'm a water baby, so it sort of resonates. But like I said at the beginning, dropping in on one of those big waves where they're doing the big wave surfing, mate, it's a big feat, mate. It really is. You need ticker.
Balls of steel.
Yeah, exactly. You need a lot of fucking heart, and that goes hand in hand with his fighting.
With the fight,
you can tell.
Yeah, you've done a bit, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel grateful to have some opportunities come my way and meet people along the way who, like I said, introduced to martial arts. And I was at a time in my life I was getting a bit of trouble. You know what I mean? I got into blue and had to get sent to Queensland and moments where it's this could all be taken away. All my dreams and aspirations have been trying to make it as a professional surfer or this new thing of mixed martial arts was just kicking off, which I was really enjoying, and I had some like sponsors get behind me, and that was at the time I was still laying carpet as well, but that was like a real potential or avenue I could maybe put the tools down and focus on my surfing and fighting, and then like I said, got full of piss. Had a blue in Queensland, I got extra, I had to go face that, and it was like a moment where I was like, fuck, I can either focus on this martial arts, you know what I mean? And,
where was it? The Gold Coast or something?
At the Gold Coast. Mick Fanning won his first world title, and
wow.
just full of drink, carrying a goose, and just got in a blue.
The Goldie. What do you do?
Alcohol, mate, can get you in some trouble.
Exactly.
Especially on the Goldie.
And the Goldies, the Gold Coast is just full on and come and get pissed party.
And like, no, not blaming anyone. Like, it was my actions, my decision to get on the drink, my decision to fucking not walk away from an argument, but that was like a little turning point, you know what I mean? Where I was like, I keep carrying like a goose and keep drinking, and nothing's going to change. I'll keep getting in trouble, and all these dreams all
made a mistake. Manned up to it and sorted it, and let's move on.
Yeah. So I was like very grateful to have.
How did you get signed with the UFC? How did that work out?
Yeah, I was fighting like locally, in Australia, doing all the big shows here, and I was doing really well. I'd won a few titles here at bantamweight in Australia, and then the Ultimate Fighter show, the House. They all go in the House.
That's right. That's what I was envisioning. I thought you might have gone into one of those.
So they did one. They did Australia versus the UK. England and Ireland. And they called it the Smashers. They'll play on the Ashes. And so we got word that they're going to do like you're going to try and audition for it and try to get a start. But the weight classes were lightweight and welterweight, and I hadn't fought at lightweight before. I'd fought at bantamweight and featherweight, which was 62 and then 66. Lightweight 71, so I was walking around about 67, 68, but the opportunity was too good to miss up. So I threw my hat in the ring, went to the auditions, did well, made it into the House as a lightweight. It's the same year like Rob Whittaker, who's one of our
of course, definitely
fighters whoever sort of graced the cage. Was in the same season as Rob, and we took on a bunch of Irish and Poms from the UK, and we went in the House, and I didn't get the results in the House that I was hoping. But like fighting out of my weight class, and I got to the semi-final. Yeah,
we were fighting a lightweight and you're bantam and feather, so you're putting on that extra weight. You're fighting some boys that aren't in your
coming down,
class.
they were cutting weight, and I was trying to get me lamb chops and mashed potato in me to make.
I was going to say you must have to do shit like that, wouldn't it? You got to bulk up, or you got to put on your burgers and shit and whatever.
Put me on on the radar of the UFC, and then I got some management. I was training in Hawaii and met some Brazilian management team who were keen to get us on the books, and after being in the House and getting sort of on their radar a little bit, I put my hand up and got signed as a flyweight, so I went back down the opposite direction, down to 57 kilos, and got signed in the UFC and fought there for a couple of years as a flyweight.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, so that was, I just stopped eating the lamb chops and mashed potato.
And you're still training and everything. Yeah, stop the mashing.
To make that weight class. Yeah, but now I still love training. Like I said, it's like
and teaching now, Macca.
I teach at Gracie Botany. I teach the no-gi class here on Monday night, and it's just a great element to like a lifestyle now that I really appreciate.
It's rewarding, mate. It's something you love.
Exactly. It's a really positive outlet. Where any martial art would be boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, to karate, any form that involves discipline is. You flog your body physically. I think that's good to do. You know what I mean? Especially.
Well, it's great at your age too that you're doing things that you want to do, that you like doing.
41, 42 in June,
which isn't old.
And isn't it great you managed to stay out of jail
throughout
all that?
Absolutely.
I realised that when I jumped in the ring. So I keep sparring with those 21-year-olds and left with a headache. I thought maybe I'll just. I can get the sparring a little bit, a bit of a rest, and I still like to go in there, but I was around there when I had just had a baby too, and I was just like, fuck, there is I want to be conscious of there's a limit to the head knocks, and there's a lot more science around it now too, where you can't get punched in the head fucking forever without some kind of repercussions, So,
I just heard that on Joe Rogan recently, actually. That exact discussion.
Well, the footy players.
Even footy.
Footy players and cop knocks and they're getting a lot of dementia and stuff.
And I like
Mario Fennick. Like Paul Mario, mate. He's I knew his father for a while, but he's a mess. He was a lovely bloke.
He's a legend.
Yeah, heads.
I had bleeding from the brain in a coma. I died twice, and after that, I played footy for say, I don't know, 12 years, whatever. And then I broke both femurs, right? And then bleeding from the brain in a coma, died twice, and then I went straight from that straight to boxing, and I went and done boxing for ages, and you know what I mean? It's like you just said, you can't get punched in the head forever. Like imagine you have that much damage to your head, and you just get ding, ding. You know what I mean? There comes a time where okay, well, man, I think enough's enough, man. You know what I mean?
What happened there, mate? You went to cardiac arrest or something or other, did you? Or like you were saying, you passed out on a table or something?
No, I got hit by a car.
He was only a kid. I
was only 13, mate. You know what I mean? Didn't I say it on the podcast? Didn't I mention it on the podcast?
Yeah.
Anyways, Richie, basically I was just, you know, going to Maccas, mate, young kid in the bush smoking weed and that.
Well, you're a little bit stoned.
Yeah, I had a bomb down my pants and that. So, I was riding the Maccas for munchies, you know, had my bomb down
the orgy bottle down the pants.
Just in case it's wanted to stop and have a couple of those ones on my way.
A couple of honeys.
You know what I mean? But yeah, mate, unfortunately, man, I got smashed by a car, mate. You know.
But the irony of it is that all his life he's driven like a maniac. You know, in car chases, going through houses, finishing people's bedrooms.
He drives very well.
All that.
Sure,
but all that, and he's come through and unscathed. And then he's walking across pedestrian crossing and gets hit.
It's
ironic,
isn't it?
You just had a bong, so you were pretty mellow, and the lips were splat.
Fucking, oh, mate. Anyways.
I mean, like 13 too, your body's not developed. Yeah, I mean,
lucky, you know what I mean? So, big bone come through me.
I mean, you can go as far to say as that could have been a precursor into getting into crime and all sorts of things, because it's an element of brain injury. You know what I'm saying? Like it's knocked you around the head, and then you've gone on to other things that made poor choices. Could it have something to do with that, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist.
I got a neuropsychology report, which cost fucking $4,500 just to get that done.
Jesus.
And mate, that what it says about me is basically I'm just a dumbass, you know what I mean? But I'm not, like, you know what I mean? I'm very streetwise, you know what I mean?
Well, you got some good plans, you got some good ideas. So
but what it's saying about me, it doesn't add up to what I am, you know?
No. It really does.
It's about the brain,
really
you know what I mean? The brain.
But before the accident, because I know his story pretty well, and before the accident, even at school, when he was always the kid who had the most money, weren't you? And he didn't get it legally.
I wasn't going to ask you.
It wasn't a paper run.
So he was a step ahead of the game.
Always at the canteen buying ice creams with the teacher's money. Anyways,
but the teachers... we get back...
I was about to jump in.
Let's get back to Ritchie.
You can't help it, mate.
But what I would ask is, like you said, like, you know what I mean, like, the adrenaline in the ring, mate. Like, you know, when you just about punch on, like, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? That must be amazing, you know what I mean? Especially in when your opponent knows all
the tricks of the trade and
it's
everything.
like, I've got to be good at this, otherwise I'm going to get got. So, you know what I mean?
That's what made me train so hard. Part of the reason why I put so much effort in training, knowing that my opponent's doing the same. He's watching tapes. He's fair thinking about what he's doing. He's not just like, you know, he's not playing around with this. He wants to make a career out of it.
You both want to win. And that's it. You know,
exactly. And there's always mutual respect with my opponents. Like, I never had any bad blood. And if there was any bit of beef in the lead up, we've always shaken hands and we're still mates today. It's a funny kind of experience you share in the cage with you know, another bloke. You sort of have like a bit of a bond there, you know, regardless of the result. You sort of, whenever you see each other 20 years later, you're like, hey, how are you? Give a hug. And
happens in jail. That happens in jail too.
And at the end, it's like respect sort of thing.
Like, definitely, like, it's an adrenaline rush. But you're also shitting yourself and you're fucking having doubts and you're fucking, some days, some fights I walk in there, don't want to be there, you know. I just can't wait for it to be over. And like, not even thinking about the result really, you know. I mean, just some nights you're walking there and you're just blood, you can't wait to get your hands on your opponent, you're just like, you don't want to be anywhere else, you know what I mean? That was my biggest battle as my career went on and the opportunity and the stage got bigger was that mental approach, you know, that aspect. And just not let the pressure get to me and my own head get to me, you know. My own head became my worst enemy, really. So, and that's what I found the biggest challenge was getting their head right to step in on the night in the right headspace.
That's interesting.
The physical part of it was like, everyone can get the physical part pretty right. And you always heard that saying, you know, like it's you know, it's 10% physical, 90% mental, you know what I mean? Like, I remember hearing that was a kid playing footy, you know, like whatever. It's all physical, you know, it's all about running harder, being stronger, you know. But then once you get to that, you know, sort of elite level where like everyone's like everyone's fit, everyone's strong, everyone's fucking moves well.
Yeah.
It's about like how they're
know,
confidence and they're
I guess it shows sort of to me anyway at your football teams. You know, you got like so many guys line up, 15 guys line up, and 13, and then the reserves. But the thing is, when they all play at their best, that team might be unbeatable, but they don't. They never do. There's always some that just don't turn up in a day. You know, it's very rare. And that's why when you see, look, sort of state of origin, they just psych them somewhere. They all play at their top, and that's why it's such a high-level game, you know. Whereas the club games, they don't always get there, you know. And it's like you're saying, it's a mental, I guess it's a mental attitude to go in there.
Like talking about footy, like, it's like how they deal with adversity, you know what I mean? How they just deal with a decision going the wrong way, you know what I mean? Or like a couple of points scored against them, some put their head down and that can spread across the team. And it's the same in fighting, like, you know, if you get dropped, and how do you, like, just some of the best fighters fight their best after that adversity, you know what I mean? They'll get clipped and get beat up and lose a round, and they'll come out and like they'll go to another level, you know. And some guys will go in their shell, you know, and get inside their head, and you know, like so. And that's why I love martial arts. I'm so grateful, and I'll always sing its praises and encourage anyone from any walk of life to take on any kind of martial art, wherever it is, because it helps you deal with that adversity. You know? So it humbles you. It's all about putting yourself in an uncomfortable position, dealing with adversity and working through it, and they're great life lessons. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
you'd have to be able to learn to cope with defeat too, and it'd be hard to lose, you know, and you get hurt, and your ego would be hurt, and
makes you stronger.
It makes you stronger.
Yeah,
it does.
It
does.
I think some of my biggest gains and leaps in my fighting career off the back of losses. You know, they hurt at the time, and I spat me dummy, and I was down and didn't want to fucking talk about it. You know, for months afterwards, and even some losses now I think about it, and they still hurt. But so like. Yeah, you always get back on the saddle and work on what you have to work on to get better. You know what I mean? However you got beat, go let's fix those holes and improve. And there's always some positives you can take out.
It's like life, really, isn't it?
I
it's
think
like
everyone
life.
gets beat once in life. And when you're talking about fighting, it doesn't matter how good you are. You can't be turned on 24/7. No. There's a day where you're not going to be at your best, and something's going to happen, and something's going to go wrong. You can't, in my view anyway, I don't think it's possible. I mean, who comes to mind? Let's say Tyson, for example, in Japan with
Big Bo?
No, not really.
Buster
Douglas. And he loses that one, you know. He gets a bit overconfident, doesn't train as hard, gets on whatever he gets on the night before, goes in there and
he's a big pothead. He's a big pothead, Mike.
And,
he's huge.
And the shrooms. He talks about the shrooms, doesn't he?
He's right to do it. Apparently he grows it medically, and he said he smokes it.
But you know, like you can't feel bad, you know, to dwell on those losses. And you know, I've had a couple myself over the years, and I just look at them as, well, that happens in life.
It does.
It's not coming back. I'm not going to be able to reverse it. So just move on.
Dust it off.
Yeah, just move on, and that happens. And the bloke that I might have lost to, he's lost himself at some point. You understand? So he's going through exactly the same thing as what you're thinking.
But you've got to remember, Nigel.
I think that comes with age.
Exactly. You've got to be able to mature, look back on it, you know what I mean, and take a different approach.
I think what we're talking about here too is, like, you're definitely a winner. You know, and you've come through a lot of fights, things, and you've come through life, really. You know? And the thing is, but not everybody's the same. You have, all of us have overcome adversity. But not everybody can do it. Some people haven't got that. They haven't got that inner strength to be able to do it. And I'm a great fanatic of tennis player. I used to play a lot of tennis on the keep it. I followed it right through. I've seen all of the great champions, and you've got guys like Nadal. I mean, I've seen that cripple on the court. He should have come off, and he'll just keep going. You know, he'd never give up. That guy. And then you'll see some of these players. Oh, I got a little bit limp, and they walk off and concede again.
Well, you obviously haven't watched his fights when he had a broken arm. And
well, I've heard about it. I didn't say, but that's what I'm thinking. That there's a guy who knows how to win, or is determined to win, and. You know, it hurts to lose. Where others will just say, oh, well, I've just had a bad day, I'll walk off, and it's not going to hurt them. But guys like you, Nadal, these sort of guys, they'd rather bloody die than lose. You know, and it's so not everybody's got that tenacity. Not everybody's got that will to win. You know,
still having a go. Still going.
And I think the public needs to hear that, and for the younger generation as well. You know, to hear when you go through this adversity, look like you could also come as well. I mean, he's teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, you know. That's an accolade.
You got to believe in yourself, don't
really,
you? You believe in yourself, don't you? And that's the thing. You might have doubts, but you still believe you can do it, don't you?
And that obviously belief's important, you know, to try to achieve anything.
It is,
But it's also like, if I do my best, you know what I mean? If I like the head noise and the regret that I live with if I didn't think something my own. So if I put my hand up to and you know, so this is what I want to achieve, and then by like allowing me not to kill. If I was to step back and say, "Nah, fuck, you know what, this guy's too tough," or he's too hard, you know what I mean? Like I'd never live with myself. Like I just So it's just like if I lose a fight and I've given it my all, I'm okay with it. You know, if I lose a fight and I just know that I wasn't there on the day and I just mentally wasn't on, like they hurt. You know, they're like.
Well, that's what makes champions, isn't it? You know, we talked about Tyson, we talked about the champions, and you know, I'm a lot older than you guys, but I've seen so many champions over the years in different sports. I followed boxing right through. I used to go to all the boxing in the 50s, 60s. Dad used to say, and I've seen a lot of great fighters follow them through, and always which guy I'd rather die than be beaten, you know. And you guys like Fraser, he's probably underrated, Fraser, you know, Fraser and all these people. But, you know, you just, in every sport, there's guys that just won't give up. And even if their team's getting beat, they're still trying, you know.
Well, when you were doing a bank, you wouldn't give up, would you? Well, you go straight for the coin.
Well, especially when
you weren't shy.
Well, the tellers used to fire shots at you with the guns. You couldn't give up. You had to keep going. In those days, they had guns, mate.
They come in handy.
What about one day I had a woman, just recently, I had a woman bank, she worked in a bank. She said, I was telling her about bloody guys with guns. She said, I'm sorry, I've worked in a bank for 20 years. We don't have guns and gags. I said, well, where were you in '66 when that bank teller was shooting at me? Where were you? She wasn't even born.
Exactly.
No, they did used to have
Reedman's daughter,
Emma,
is fighting soon.
Yeah, right.
She trains with Johnny Lewis.
Unreal, I did a bit training with Johnny Lewis, legend.
How
old is Johnny Lewis?
Oh, he'd have to be getting on because I met him in '96 at Newtown PCYC.
He is a legend.
He must have been 50s, 60s then. I'm sure of it. But I was only very young, so people look a lot older at that time. But
he came to Ronnie Isherwood's book launch in Asheville.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Gary German brought him.
How old would you say he is, Johnny Lewis now?
Yeah, I think close to 80.
Look.
I mean, mid-late. It costs you, like even like Jeff Harding, like those back in the days. So that was a long time ago, but he's still like
Hitman Harding. I remember.
And he
I got an autograph.
But you know,
he was training the Cowboy at the time. Actually, when I was there, he was training Justin Russell. Justin Russell, the Cowboy.
Well, you know, when Cox was on the run for 11 years, Johnny Lewis used to meet up with him. I mean, how nice is that?
For a beer.
No, he was saying hit me hard, and I was trying to remember. I was like, you got an autograph something, I think.
He's apparently still, a mate of mine was good mates with him, super fit apparently, and last I heard at the Central Coast.
Who, Harding?
Yeah.
Harding. Oh, is he? Oh, that's good,
For a while, he's up the, that's what I've heard. But,
well, I live in Ritchie's sort of domain, his area. I'm in East Lakes, and he's a Maroubra boy. And, mate, to this day, he's still got a very good name in the area.
Oh,
And it's a testament to his character because, you know, people wax and wane throughout their lives and you know, might give up or become a drunk or whatever can happen in life. You know, things can happen to everybody. But he seemed to have maintained a very stable lifestyle. Which is commendable.
Very healthy.
Yeah.
You give up the drink years ago.
And to stay on that trajectory and train and get into everything, mate, and fucking...
Honest, there's a lot of good things in life you can go out there and chase and enjoy, you know, and I just like those things I do and love doing, I'm passionate about, I try to get as much of that in, and I'm really grateful. I've got a great bunch of mates I've grown up with and family, and like got a lot of good things in life to be appreciative of, and I think martial arts helped me bring me down a few pegs in terms of being understanding how to be humble. And
well, you're going to show Johnny a few locks and a few things so he can get himself out of some trouble. He can box, but he might want to take him to the ground sometimes.
I'll give it a miss.
Like, you know, out of all the bar boys, not everyone was successful. Some went the wrong way. Some went jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you should be very proud of yourself of what you've come through and what you've done, because your life could have went the other way too. So you know
absolutely.
what I mean? You should be very proud of yourself.
And I'm very grateful for my parents. You know what I mean? Like I said, it all started the conversation. It started about my parents coming over here, and they did instill some good morals and not like I knew the difference between right and wrong. You know, when I
Good parents is a great start.
Yeah, and they weren't perfect by any stretch. You know, my dad was a big drinker, and like they all did the best they could do. But like something like I always knew like a little bit. He's a brewer by trade too. Emu over in WA, Rashes over here, so he still brews now on the Central Coast. But like I'm very grateful for that. You know, my grandma, she helped raise us a lot.
She's still alive, your grandmother?
No, she's passed away. That's a little tattoo there for her.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
And but yeah, so then like I said, I had every opportunity to do whatever you want. Growing up in Ruru back in the day, you know what I mean? Like where you want to put your hand up and say you want to be a surfer or a fighter, a bloody physiotherapist or an accountant, whatever. You get support. You know, if you want to put your hand up and say I want to be a mug and go and do this and that, get in the blue and like a Robert Bank, you would have got that support as well. You know what I mean? So,
What if you want to be?
I kind of felt like as much as I fucked up and I got into trouble, I kind of like I didn't want to keep going in that path. You know what I mean? At
least you're wise enough to realise that.
Yeah, and going up to like I've had like therapy and like stuff about just trying to talk about head noise and like life's dramas and little curveballs get thrown at you. And like now I'm a big believer in talking and getting it out there and not being scared or like feel like
positivity and
and just like
well,
the stereotype about fucking talking about shit. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been to your homeland? You ever been to Czechoslovakia?
Yeah, I've been.
You've been over there?
Yeah, and Manchester. Yeah, my parents were.
I was born in Manchester.
Oh,
St Mary's Hospital.
My mother's side, or from like Blakely, my side.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Government housing.
Yeah, okay.
So,
we knew some family friends that lived out of Macclesfield. I went back when I was 16. People think I'm Indian when they look at me. I'm African Irish. So my mother's natural. My mother was from County Armagh in Ireland, and my father was of African descent. But I was brought up in a white family. I was adopted. So my dad on my adopted side's from Lancashire, and my mum's from Scotland. And they brought me over here.
You just can't get away from the Irish. They're everywhere, aren't
they? Well, mate. As well, you've done a bit of media, so I'd like to just quickly talk on that. Blood thicker than
I mean, well, the Bra Boys
Australian story, and you've done your docos, mate, with your fighting, which I was reading about that. Very impressive. And that,
man, again, I was lucky to grow up with some really talented, creative mates. You know what I mean? Like Maccas D'Souza was my best mate through high school, and he's one of the Bra Boys, and he played a big part in the Bra Boy documentary. You know, as a director on that.
That was big.
He went on to do a film with Fighting Fear, which was me and Mark Matthews, my best mate. Like the story of us growing up and doing our thing in fighting and big wave surfing. And off the back of that, a show called The Crew came up and it was on Fuel TV back in the day on Fox Sports.
The Crew,
So I was just lucky to be, I guess, in the right place at the right time. We mates who were creative and we had opportunities and came up with ideas that I was just the punch drunk carpet layer who fucking tagged along, you know what I mean, and just got to start on these cool adventures and these experiences.
But you speak well; it's very natural as well, you know. So
I started then again I did some commentary work on the UFC fight. It's called UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports as well. We did a panel show for a few years. So.
But you grab any opportunity, don't you? If you can, you take it.
Well, that's nice about it. And again, I don't like living with regret, so I'd rather take the opportunity and see what it leads to. And regardless, I think you're always better off for that experience. You know, if it doesn't work out, great. Well, you know.
No point looking back and saying, "Joe, I should have done this. I should have done it." If the opportunity's there, grab it.
Take it. And if it goes champion, great. If it doesn't go so good, don't worry. You had to go.
Excuse me, Richie. How do you apply your discipline and what you've learned in your carpet lane?
Well,
that was my next thing. Your business. You just stole me question there, Mark. No, good on you, mate.
Like with fighting, it keeps you honest. You know what I mean? Like if you can't just play the part and think say you're training hard and you're doing all the right things and getting on the night. And if you haven't been noticed, you're gonna get shown up. You know? And I just try to be true to your word and be honest. I enjoy work. You know, it pays the bills. I want to keep a good reputation and not burn bridges with people I work with, to be honest, I don't try and blame. Yeah.
And
And
it'd be
if
good
things feel don't go right, you put your hand
Yeah.
up and go, fuck, I fucked that up, or this, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Fix it.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and
Do you
that's
still
like,
have to use your knee?
I was just going to say that. That's what I was
Mark,
saying.
he's pipped us
He's
both.
got
He's
us
pipped us
both.
both,
I was
mate.
going to say it also translates to fighting because you're putting your knee on the pad and you're kneeing in, you know, on the corners and everywhere you go.
He's
so
on the ball
your
today,
knees,
Marcus.
rock
I'll tell you,
hard.
there's no
Yeah.
fucking around.
Yeah.
funny,
Don't they have a machine now that does it for you?
Nah, you still use the key. It's the most efficient way, like quickest way of doing it. We get paid by the metre too, not by the hour. So we want to get in and get the job done. And
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
machines better,
Yeah.
time consuming, and especially like in just residential smaller rooms. The knee kick is the way to go, and try to use both
How's your
knees. So you
back?
don't-
Your back all
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
I had a mate that did. He had a carpet laying business
Yeah.
years ago, and he done well. But he said, oh, his back's.
Just because you're always moving furniture, you're ripping old carpet off the ground, you're carrying new carpet. If you're not bending over and doing it correctly, you get a sore back. And
Yeah.
like I said,
It's
you're
hard,
trying to get
yeah,
a job as quick as you can. So those things get forgotten about when you got to pick the daughter up from school and you're trying to get the job done. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But-
mate, it's
But
fucking
I think training
hard
and like
yakka,
being
isn't
in
it?
the ocean and like
Yeah,
having that balance of like helps the body. You know what I mean? Like
And
the
the
ocean's
mind.
therapeutic.
And
Yeah,
the
it does
mind.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
How's your body from training and fighting? And
Injury. Injuries, yeah,
like
good question.
Pretty good, you know what I mean?
Lucky.
I'm still out there being able to do sort of everything I love to do. A few years ago, I probably had my worst injury, and that was surfing. The lip landed on my shoulder and like blew my shoulder apart, and had to have a full reco. They call it a shoulder explosion, where like basically everything was torn apart, my bicep muscle, all my ligaments and stuff. And I've still like a little bit of frozen shoulder off the back of that, but like. So I feel like I went through all my fight career and like chasing waves for all those years, and I did have injuries, but like nothing too major. Where I had to go under the knife and have a long kind of recovery until a few years ago. But yeah, like I said, like it's I think if you sit around doing nothing, you're going to get health effects from that. If you go out there and like
Have a go.
I think you're going to go like pick up little niggles as well. But yeah, getting in the ocean and keeping that balance, you know what I mean, and just trying to look after yourself, eat well. Like I still love a beer and have a good time, but it's all like kind of in moderation. I try to keep it a bit of a limit now, and yeah, body feels good, and like I think just keep moving, keep staying active, and yeah.
And what happened with arm injuries, mate? Have you had what happened?
Yeah, that one.
We got to ask.
Mate,
If that's all
it
restored.
was
and
dangling.
fucking-
It was.
This
from
is what I've heard.
saw,
I haven't
it
seen,
came
but I
from
heard
there.
it was a
It was
fucking
hanging
mess.
down here, and just the boys went, oh fuck, look at that.
Because anything I worked in a hospital years ago. Anything orthopedic, you're talking serious pain. It's very painful. Like
It was a
bones
funny
and
feeling, like
bones
like
take heaps
this
to
I
guy-
can't
repair
remember.
too.
Was it someone that put you in an armbar or something?
No,
or you fell wrong or something?
Yeah, I
or-
was trying to get taken down. And we were sparring. We had like boxing gloves on. We
Yeah.
were sparring, but also doing the takedown and
Yeah.
wrestling. And he tried to take me down. I tried to put my arm out to stop the takedown, and just my elbow
Snap.
bent backwards. Yeah, so the back of my hand kind of hit.
Oh,
hit the
man.
back of his shoulder.
And that was down there like that. Just
Yeah,
flopping
just,
and, oh.
Where's the
I still haven't
endo?
seen
Where's
the
the endo?
footage.
now?
I know, it's still like.
He still hasn't looked at it
Every time
himself.
I come,
Yeah.
I just turn my head because I remember the feeling, sensation. It's like I heard obviously, but it was like a sickly sensation when you feel a limb go the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's
It's probably better you didn't look at it, mate, too, because it's going to make the pain worse. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just give me some pain relief
Yeah,
and
no,
fix it.
that was
I
off
got a
tap.
weak stomach when it comes to that stuff.
No, that was
Yeah.
off tap, mate. That was fucking next level. Yeah.
Yes, but look, like any sport, mate, it's physical contact. There's going to be some injuries, but I think
Yeah.
it's far outweighed by the positive. Like
Yeah.
like you said, the mental clarity. Like to release steam and clear your head.
Yeah.
Whether it's be training, hitting the heavy bag maybe after work one
Yeah.
day, or jiu-jitsu, get on the mats and have a roll. It keeps the life, the balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. And like I said, I sort of stumbled into it and looked back, and it sort of came into my life at a time where I really needed it. Not knowing at the time, but looking back.
Isn't it funny how
really
that works?
Yeah, like you said, fate or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. But things work. Like life leads you in funny directions sometimes, and it doesn't make sense until you maybe look back 10 years down the
Oh,
track.
mate,
and like you say,
for 41, you've done leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, 41's young to me. You know, I'm getting a bit long on the tooth myself.
Yeah.
But like,
Aren't we all?
but yeah. But mate, you've done leaps and bounds. Got your own business. You've been through all this stuff. It's bloody amazing. We'll wrap it up soon because you've got to get back on the tools at some stage.
No, I'm good.
Oh, you're good for today.
Yeah,
oh, right. We'll talk a bit more. But anyone else want to ask Richie anything, Mounty or John or?
Well, that shoulder
Nigel,
that you
or-
did the damage to,
Yeah.
is it totally healed or what?
It's healed now, yeah, but I just done the range like I do on my left shoulder, like it
Yeah,
doesn't move.
yeah.
So
No,
that's
yeah.
probably just part of like the extensive, like I've got like 9 anchors in my shoulder all tied down.
Yeah.
So it's probably never going to get back.
A heap of Voltaren at home and things
Yeah.
like that. And
That seems to be the only thing that works for my knee.
yeah.
Yeah, I
not
just
too
came
bad.
from the
It works on
orthopaedic
some
specialist,
things,
and
yeah.
it's the one thing that seems to just get me by. But you can't take it forever,
Never,
mate.
yeah,
You
'cause
get
it has
ulcers
guts,
and
yeah. So I fighting and going through that whole I just used to have to cut a lot of weight, you know, to sort of walk. It was funny. I wasn't fighting at flyweight. I never sort of sat heavier than 67, 68, and as soon as I started fighting at 57, I started walking around like 72 kilos, you know, for whatever reason. So to get down to weight, I took an interest in nutrition and healthy living and just eating like a.
And when you stepped up to the 71 grade, it was just a bit much, wasn't it?
They're giving away too much weight. The guys are coming down from above 80, you know.
To get down there,
And to lose that weight in a hurry, they throw you in the saunas and shit like that.
Yeah, it is a process. You'd have to when I was fighting UFC at 57 kilos, I had to hire a nutritionist to, give me a diet plan and I had to measure me food and all that kind of stuff. And that was pretty torturous, just because you're always worrying about your weight and the number on the scale. It sort of took my attention, my focus off my actual preparation because the weight was such a big deal. But then
you pig out after after it's all
did,
done, like hit the burgers and steaks and all that sort of stuff. And
I'd blow out in between fights and but in that final week you sort of have to get because it wasn't you're not losing the weight for not permanently. It's always losing the weight for a short term. So that week of water loading, you drink loads of water, cut salts out, so you sort of overhydrate yourself. So then when you stop drinking, you start to jump in the sauna.
Jockeys do it too.
Jockeys, I should have spent a bit of time in the saunas with jockeys.
Have you? Yeah, you would have.
I've got a thing for you. Sauna or steam?
I used to use a sauna.
I have a steam at UNSW every Sunday, right? And I just got used to it. But what's your thoughts on sauna or steam?
They're both great for you. I've heard lots of good stuff about saunas, how good they are for the body and longevity. How good they are. Yeah. I think steam's great. As soon as you raise that core body temperature up, I mean, it's going to give you a benefit. I heard, especially if you stay long in this way, it can dry your respiratory because it's so dry in there. You're spending hours in there trying to cut weight. I remember a nutritionist telling me just be careful. It can zap you. And then so the way I was cutting weight was in a hot bath as long as I could handle,
Right.
As hot as you could handle, sitting there and I'd get out. It was all time. I'd be 20 minutes in, maybe 10 minutes out, wrapped in towels, so you keep sweating. Yeah. And some guys like the sauna like just for like a leisure kind of like.
You prefer a sauna?
I still like doing sauna now, just like
steam.
No, I like them both. Yeah,
you like them both?
I like them both.
I think they've both got the same sort of proproperties, the same value to them.
I probably enjoy this thing a bit more. So the sauna gets a little bit harsh,
you do have you been to hyperbaric chambers?
Yeah, I used to. For sure. That for recovery, you know what I mean. Like, they were great to flood your body full of oxygen and try to help with those little niggling injuries and hopefully bounce back the next day. Because training was pretty full on, when you're competing, in the lead up to a fight. So recovery was important,
especially at the UFC level. You got to be on the top of your game, mate.
There's a lot to it, isn't there?
Yeah,
there's a hell of a lot, full dedication.
I actually saw someone the other day. They were on TV, and the bloke was cutting weight for his fight, and then his opponent came to the pre-fight commentary, and they're there arguing. And the bloke, and he was justified by saying it. He said, "Oh yeah, mate, you want to come now and pick me while I'm cutting weight?" I think you know what the feeling of that would be like if you're cutting weight and you're feeling a bit shit. And this bloke's had him. He's not going for the. He's not cutting weight himself, and it was for a fight after he fights another bloke, and he's come bridging up, And I thought, well, this bloke's justified by not wanting to ever go back, what do you do?
You feel terrible over when you're cutting weight, you know what I mean? You don't feel like, exactly. So it's a funny part of the sport, trying to. Everyone wants to be the bigger, stronger guy on the night. Some guys get away without cutting much weight at all, but I think the majority of fighters these days they like to cut it. Especially with the grappling. You know what I mean? Like if you're a bit heavier, a bit stronger, it can do you huge favours in there. And and going back to the training too, it's a funny sport because you've got to try to fit in so many different elements. Get your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu, your kickboxing, maybe karate, like wrestling.
And if you looked at blokes in the back in the day like Ken Shamrock and Frank Shamrock and Brock Lesnar and you know, they were, I believe, were on roids, you know.
For sure, yeah.
And then you look at blokes now, it seems to be frowned upon. I mean, Conor McGregor, for that movie, I think he was doing a role, and you can see he's beefed up a bit and he might be doing something. But I genuinely believe that he's dead against roids, and he was going in natural in most of his fights, right?
He claims that, yeah.
Just from looking at his body, you know.
Retirement, or how old's
Well, he's
McGregor?
getting close.
He's a legend.
He's getting close,
legend.
isn't he?
Yeah,
But I think peptides, are they legal to muck around with peptides?
I don't
before a
know.
fight?
I know, like USADA was looking after the UFC when I was
Yeah.
competing, so they had a pretty stringent, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know how you really sort of test for peptides. They are
Yeah.
producing your body naturally
Yeah.
as well, but
Well, Charles Sundin, he was overseas, and he goes to his fight, and it was the first time they started, I think it's the same group under the UFC,
Yeah.
and they just introduced testing, right?
Yeah.
So they took, a bloke comes, doesn't identify himself,
Yep.
right? Has no ID, doesn't say, he just says, right, I'm here to do a urine test. He goes, who are you, mate? He goes, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
He goes, well, why should I have to go with you? But he did, he submitted because he didn't want the repercussions.
Yeah.
So he goes into the room, in a dirty room, the bloke has no gloves, and he pisses into this thing,
Yeah.
and then the bull, what's his name, the bloke that he was having a big beef with at the time, it just doesn't come to mind, but I can picture him. Anyway, he refused. And then it made a big media thing that he refused to do the urine and all that.
Silver? Was that,
That's
Silver?
it, Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah.
So he was refusing to do it, and justifiably so.
Yeah.
There was no identification. It wasn't coming from someone accredited. There was no gloves, no sanitation, and they're asking to piss, and he's going, and he's arguing against it, you know, like, and because he's not much of a speaker himself, it made him look. If he just told the full story, everybody would, you know, be on board and say, well, look, you were pretty much. Right by denying it without seeing identification, mate. So I think that's changed now, and then there is strict, stringent rules.
Yeah, it's got pretty strict.
Yeah.
But in saying that, they say
Off
like,
season.
there's always ways around it.
Yeah.
You look at some blokes and feel like, for sure, or just the difference, like in body shapes between guys who are fighting, and then you suddenly came on board, and then, like, you know what I mean, when they had to clean up the rate, all the fighters who were, I guess, supposedly using it to clean up the rate, how much their performances change and their body shape change and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's it's like any sport when the prizes are big and you know the fame and the fortune's a big contagion.
It's full on.
People,
It's big business. Full on, and
but like, you know, peptides, like if you outside of sport, mate, if you do whatever you want. I use peptides to get over my shoulder injury.
It helps heal and
exactly. There's a time and a place for it, but when you're in there trying to cave a bloke's head, and some blokes juice the gills, it's a little unfair. You know,
fucking
that's
unfair.
what
Fucking unfair.
Mark Hunter had a lot to say about that because he was obviously a clean fighter. And
look at him, you can tell he's pretty he's just a big boy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And he had a lot of opponents who were ping positive for roids, and he was one of the UFC because but also because like he reckons the UFC knew about it too, but they obviously did do their job, and and he did smash most of them too, which is good. It's part of the sport.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. And family man. Family man too?
Yeah.
One
I'm
kid,
lucky.
2 kids?
Well, my daughter's turning 8 next month, and I've got a little boy, Rocky, who's one in March. So, and then my missus is pregnant. We're expecting another little one in July. So
congrats, mate.
Wow.
You got to keep working, mate.
Does
anyone? Look, we are going to wrap up soon. We're going to wrap up shortly. Does anyone else want to ask this champion here? And we're so grateful to have you
mate,
today.
I was great. It was great to pick his brains.
And I've got to say too, Nigel has a lot to do with Richie being here today. So we're very grateful of Nigel, and he's got projects. You'll see him again, Crim TV. You've got some projects on the boil, and we're going to do a bit of work together
in the not too distant future.
Not too distant future. Mounty.
Jiu-jitsu on Monday night too.
Yes, we're there, mate.
Well, he's a big bloke too. And Mounty, an absolute legend. King of Mount Druitt, I call him, mate. Mounty of the Druitt.
And you'll be doing a walkthrough.
We're doing. Mounty's got the book with John coming, and we're doing an episode with Mounty as well, which thanks very much was a fucking great suggestion.
No better person.
And the real product, and when Mounty's book comes out too, we'll be having him on the show and that. And I want to get a couple of them books for a giveaway for the viewers, as well. John Killick, what a legend.
Yep.
Where are you off tomorrow, John? You're off to Geelong.
Well, I'm going to Geelong. There's Ronald
Never
Ryan.
stops. He's
There's a Ronald
unbelievable.
Ryan
He does
exhibition.
it.
He never
It's a
stops.
machine.
I know.
The guy-
Well,
the guy was hanged on
Yeah, yeah.
he was hanged on the 3rd of February 1967. So
Yep.
we're doing it on the weekend, 1st, 2nd of February. But we believe that he was innocent. We believe the wrong
Yep.
man was hanged. He's the last man
We
hanged
done
in
a
Australia.
podcast on it.
It was so controversial that there's never been another execution. And I
It's
was
true.
actually there. I was in Pentridge when it happened.
Yeah,
And,
how legendary is that?
so,
He was in prison.
anyway,
the last man was hung.
yeah, I was there, and there's 150 people coming tomorrow, and it's a small jail. So, and we've got some, Mark Dappin's coming down, and the lady that we did the podcast with yesterday, Michelle, she's coming down,
Yep.
and so we don't know what will happen from that, but we're trying to get a movement going that, and it comes late, but it's a long time. 67, what were we, 58 years ago, but we think we might be able to get eventually enough pressure put on it to get
have it looked
the
at.
conviction overturned. Actually,
Yep.
because there's been cases where it's actually happened. Over in England, it's famous. The most famous case was you've heard about him, Christie. He was a mass murderer, raped and murdered this guy's wife, killed the baby. And then testified against him, got him hanged. They hanged him. He was a half-wit. And then later on they realised they found all these bodies in Christie's home and that realised he was the worst mass murderer they'd seen. Executed him, posthumously pardoned evidence, which is not much use. So, but the best we can hope for is that eventually that the evidence showed it was a political execution.
Yep.
So the best we can hope for is that eventually there will be an inquiry.
Victorian
So a lot of people going down there. You were going to come, you couldn't, mate. You were
big.
going to come, and
big.
and next time, we'll make sure you just get down there because
100% next time, John. We'll go down the camper, mate.
yeah. I was just grabbing Nigel on the knee. I just grabbed him on the knee.
Just going to be friendly.
No,
Sorry,
Yeah,
what about Iron Man? Hey, he's a good. Is it the Filipino fighter?
Is he fighting the one championship?
Cage fighter, whatever. Yeah, maybe. Sorry.
Like he's a smaller fella too.
Yeah. He's a
He
machine.
fought that Mighty Mouse recently. That
Yeah,
Richard
that's right.
Johnson.
He's
yeah.
humble as anything.
Yeah,
And when he's,
yeah.
after he's like, just had that maddest fight. He would sit down and like, what I mean.
Yeah.
Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
He's one of the.
And in like Muay Thai, because that's his background.
Yeah, that's right.
He was like unbeatable. He was just just flatline bloke.
That's a machine.
Yeah.
He's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as soon as he
absolutely.
finishes, it's peace-loving mum.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't
Mate,
that
a lot of the,
incredible? Where you can just
Most like the fighters are, you know what I mean? Like, there's a few people who I guess who like Connor and always want to keep that brashness and whatever. And
Yeah.
whatever. But like majority of fighters, like I said, are quite humble and like I said, whatever happens in the cage once it's done, they want to shake hands and
Which is
super
good.
thanks and and respect to each other. So I said, it's a lovely part of the sport, and I think it's sometimes overshadowed by the trash talk and whatnot.
Adesanya's good at that too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bit of,
He's training him and Rob Whittaker now training together. They had their battles and they all try to kill each other for
I've seen
a
that.
few times, and now they're helping each other out, which is it's a great reflection of the
What
sport.
about a T-shirt? What happens in the cage? Stays in the Like
Bit of
Vegas.
marketing.
Like Vegas.
Bit of marketing.
Could be like what happens in jail stays in jail.
What happens in the pod stays?
Yeah.
We're eventually going to get some cups and T-shirts, and that it all depends on that.
Hasn't this been a great talk today?
It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is how we like to roll. We're just having a chat.
Thanks for getting us on.
Mate, thank you, and we'll keep going.
How relaxing is it to do this rather than across a table?
Absolutely.
In a dark room
Yeah.
with a microphone, we try and make it a little bit
No, good
different,
stuff.
and it's great, and we really appreciate you coming in, mate, and keep it open. We'd love to have you on again down the track.
Anytime.
That's all right.
Thanks for
Yeah.
getting us on.
Thanks very
Yeah,
much,
there's been
mate.
pleasure.
Bloody
Once
champion.
again,
All the best for the
mate.
future.
Yeah.
I'm all here in Denver, so everyone's got a few
Mounty,
things
I mean,
going
all
on.
the guys here today, we're just so grateful, and Marcus, of course. We're going to try and push this one. Marcus is going to try and get this out in the next 24 hours. So we want to,
All right.
yeah,
Oh,
mate.
mate,
we
that's very quick.
Yeah.
This is probably the most of being in one.
Yeah, we'll all push it. Richie, you'll try and push it, won't you?
I was speaking to Maccas about what the best way to do that is with socials and YouTube and whatnot.
Mate,
so,
beautiful.
we'll
Whatever
get as much as I
you
can.
can do will be great. I'm technically disabled, mate. I've got a
I'm
card,
similar.
like one of them cards, disabled cards. I put it on my car. This guy's a fuckwit and he can't do it. Technically, I'm shit. I still don't even know what things in the car do. I just, like...
Yeah, but isn't this the most amount of people in one time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're in a
Well,
small
we're
area,
all gonna-
and
we're
it's
all
just
Well,
been
that's a
nice
great
and-
record.
We're all got our
Yeah.
own podcast.
Yeah.
and we're all-
Yeah.
It's just terrific, and
No, it's
all
sensational.
bloody
Good photo
champions. And,
opportunity, actually.
There's been a lot of women ringing up. They want dates for all their guys.
yeah. Well, they'd be lining up for Mounty, mate. Sort of thing, I reckon. I've been on bread and water for about a year, but that's another story, So we'll wrap it up now. That was episode 52. Richie Vass, absolute champion, and all the boys, John, Mounty, Nige, honestly, we're so grateful. We're in a small studio.
And Marcus put a couple of good
Marcus
ones in.
has got to whack it together. Also, thanks for putting the promo together.
know,
That's had, I think, a couple of hundred hits, which is good for us. We're only a small mob. I think we're a bit over 1160 now, so... Anyway, we'll get there.
I think you're at about 2,000 views, aren't you?
I don't know.
Oh, no, you're on 24. You're over 2,400.
2,400,
So
yeah.
yours is doing all right,
I'm on
mate.
about 13, I think, 1,300.
You're over, you're over. You're on the way to
Little bit
14.
over.
Yeah,
Okay.
so...
I look at it every now and then, but I just...
But I mean, most people look at that and think it's small numbers. It's
Well,
big
yeah,
numbers for us
yeah,
because
for-
we're a
that's
small
right,
mob.
that's right,
And I'm
that's right.
fucking grateful. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for everything
Yeah.
and everyone that comes on the show.
No.
It started
No,
in
it
the
was great to
garage
get
3.5
Richie.
years ago with 3
Yeah.
subscribers. So.
Yeah.
It's just taken, we went to crime on number 9. So thank you very much, everyone. We're most grateful. That was 52. We'll get it out real soon. We've got a bunch more to come. I just got to sell some more clothes and stuff to get the next one out.
Oh, jeez.
And it'll be coming out really soon. So grateful to everyone. Richie, thanks again, mate. You're a fucking legend, and we'd love to see you down the track again, mate.
Always, like I said.
Thanks very much.
Great to
Good luck
talk
with your
you.
family, your business, and everything, mate.
Yeah.
Did
Really
you want to
grateful.
give,
And you should be proud of yourself.
did you want to
too.
give Whitehall a plug before we go?
Absolutely, and
Okay.
of course, our sponsors will have
Good
to.
man,
John,
yeah.
we didn't forget. We just
No, we didn't
late.
forget. No, I was just about to mention it actually.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they're not sponsors, they're supporters, great supporters. Of
well,
us.
all the guys here, we're never going to need a lawyer.
Yep.
But the ones that do need lawyers,
Yep.
and I'm saying that tongue in cheek because we probably all might need lawyers one day. But,
Yeah.
Whitehall really will go. They'll do the extra yard for you. And,
Absolutely.
And they do support us. They've
Yep.
got people that with Whitehall that push our program.
Fantastic law firm,
we'd like-
Steve. And,
yeah, and well, you say what you got to say because
no, well, look, we've honestly said it before. They've been great supporters of ours, and Whitehall and Associates. They do all forms of the law.
Well,
John.
Steve.
Madeline West is involved, and we're hoping to talk.
Well,
to
well,
her,
that's right.
the
Well,
actress,
Steve that actually was with Russell.
Yep.
And sort of was always the silent partner. Russell was the guy who got all the publicity and got the Voice Survivor going. But now that Russell's gone, they do Warriors, Warriors, which is a great firm. Steve's part of that as well, but he's also branched out into Whitehall. Now Whitehall is a really good firm, and it's branching out. And I know for a fact that a young friend of mine who's doing uni, she's going to work for them. They've got Madeline West, haven't they?
Fantastic.
From Home and Away.
Madeline West,
Yeah, from Home and Away.
and one of the
Yeah.
Underbelly
Yeah.
shows too.
No, she's
expecting her 7th kid.
she's pretty famous, and they went over to South Australia. Steve and Madeline and a few others went over to South Australia and actually spoke to the Premier about what the work they're doing with kids and that. So
We're hoping to get her on for a chat. So,
yes, so we're hoping that Madeline will come. And anyway, we just do recommend Whitehall.
Whitehall and Associates, they do all forms of law, institutional abuse,
Yep.
everything, John, don't they? Even down to a will or whatever.
Well,
And,
you know, it doesn't matter. AVOs, they'll do anything that you want them to do. And
Well, I've heard good things.
yeah.
Oh, they're terrific, mate. They're terrific. So if you're in the pub, people, please get in touch with Whitehall Associates. Great supporters of ours, aren't they, John?
And Marcus will put the number up there.
Marcus
Yeah,
is going to put the
yeah.
graphics up. Great supporters. Thank you, Whitehall and Associates, and thank you to all these gentlemen here.
Yeah.
It's been terrific.
Yeah,
we're
thank you,
really
Richie.
grateful. We're
Yeah,
really
it's
grateful.
really great.
Episode
great.
52, the man.
I hope we do
Richard
get him
Vass,
back, eh? I hope we get him
Love
back.
to
Yeah,
get you
we'll
back.
get a second.
Love to
third,
get you
fourth.
back, mate. Love to
Glad
get
we
you
didn't
back.
have to pull this out.
So, yeah.
I was just looking at it going, what's that?
Fucking hell.
That's just me as protection back.
Yeah. No, it's terrific, mate. And thanks to everyone. That was 52, 53 coming soon. We never give up. No surrender, do we, John?
No,
We keep going.
never,
I've still
never.
got a few things I could sell. We keep going. And good on you. And
miss
Richie
best, mate.
is the man. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Good on you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
There's that.
Good on you.
That was good.
That was very good.